F-117 Nighthawk shot down by a single man. Get ready to discover how a plane designed to be invisible to radar became the target of one of the most fascinating stories in military aviation. On March 27, 1999, Lieutenant Colonel Dale Zelko was piloting an F-117 Nighthawk, the legendary stealth fighter, on a bombing mission over Belgrade. Everything seemed to be going according to plan until he saw something that would change history. Two bright points approaching at high speed. They were Yugoslav surface-to-air missiles. One barely missed, but the other struck dead center. The impact was devastating. The aircraft, the pride of stealth engineering, was so damaged that Zelko barely managed to eject in time. The unthinkable had happened. The invisible plane was no longer invisible. The fall of the F-117 was an unexpected blow to combat operations and a gift to the global press. But here arises the big question: how could old radar systems and Soviet missiles from the 1960s bring down this technological masterpiece? The answer isn't simple, and the story behind this event is as intriguing as it is educational. So sit back and join us on this incredible exploration of the secrets of the F-117 Nighthawk, from its creation in Lockheed's ultra-secret labs to its first combat missions, including its debut in Operation Just Cause in Panama, 1989. Don't miss this war story that changed the course of military aviation. Like, subscribe, and hit the bell for more content revealing the mysteries of the battlefield. How did the most legendary aircraft of the Gulf War, the F-117 Nighthawk, go from being a symbol of invulnerability to becoming the focal point of one of the most shocking events in military history? Get ready for a story full of action, technology, and strategy. During Operation Desert Storm from 1990 to 1991, the F-117 earned the nickname the Invisible Plane by bombing enemy positions in Iraq, including Baghdad, without suffering a single loss. They attacked the most heavily defended sites and became a legend. But there was a crucial detail: Iraq did not have modern air defense systems, relying on outdated Soviet-made anti-aircraft guns and portable missiles that were incapable of countering these stealth bombers. The true test for the F-117 came in 1999, during the Kosovo War, where it faced Yugoslav air defenses equipped with Soviet-era technology from the 1950s and 60s. Although these were not cutting-edge systems, they posed a serious threat. NATO focused its strategy on air superiority, and the US sent its elite 12 F-117s operating from bases in Italy. Among them was Vega 31, piloted by Lieutenant Colonel Dale Zelko, a veteran of missions in Iraq. The confidence in the technology was absolute. Pilots believed that Yugoslavia's outdated radars would not challenge the F-117, especially with the support of electronic warfare aircraft. Were they invulnerable? That was about to be tested. On the night of March 27, 1999, something happened that no one expected. A stealth F-117, a symbol of invincibility, fell from the sky. But how could Yugoslavia's old air defense system achieve the unthinkable? Colonel Zoltan Dani, commander of the 250th Air Defense Brigade, had a brilliant and bold plan. Although his weapons, such as the Soviet-made S-75, S-125 and the mobile 2K-12 Cub systems, were relics from the 1950s and 60s, his strategy was modern and relentless. The master plan: an ambush for the invisible. From the start of NATO bombing on March 24, 1999, Zoltan Dani meticulously studied the flight patterns. He detected a weakness. The coalition planes always followed the same route back to Italy. Taking advantage of this predictability, he set up an ambush. Key strategies that changed history. 1. Fake launch sites, decoy installations to confuse enemy attacks. 2. Mobility and speed. Trained his teams to dismantle, move and reassemble the S-125 Neva systems in just 90 minutes, avoiding detection by satellites. 3. Stealth radar. Activated his radars for just 20 seconds, the perfect amount of time to lock onto a target without being detected by anti-radiation missiles. 4. Unexpected detection. Used a P-18 long-range, low-frequency radar which, although imprecise, could detect the presence of stealth aircraft like the F-117. On the third night of the campaign, the moment arrived. The Allied electronic warfare planes could not deploy, leaving the F-117 without its usual protection. That night, Colonel Danny and his S-125 battery seized the opportunity. The hunt had begun, but Colonel Zoltan Danny and his team faced an almost impossible challenge. For hours, attempts to lock onto a target were unsuccessful. Time was running out, but Danny did not give up. Finally, the P-18 radar picked up something. 4 planes approaching rapidly. It was the opportunity they had been waiting for. With surgical precision, Danny activated his S-125 Neva battery and launched 2 missiles toward one of the targets when it was only 8 miles away. In the cockpit of the F-117 Nighthawk, Lieutenant Colonel Dale Zelko saw the unthinkable. 2 bright points cutting through the clouds and heading toward him at high speed. One of the missiles missed, but the other struck directly. The invisible plane had been hit. The explosion left the legendary F-117 out of control, forcing Zelko to eject from the aircraft. Pilot Dale Zelko survived the impact, landing safely in enemy territory. For hours, he evaded Yugoslav patrols in an attempt to avoid capture until he was eventually rescued in an incredible operation involving helicopters and distress aircraft. However, what truly changed the course of history was the fate of his aircraft. The wreckage of the downed F-117 became a worldwide sensation. To the surprise of Yugoslav officers, the plane they had shot down was none other than the feared F-117 Nighthawk, the so-called invisible plane. When Colonel Zoltan Danny was informed that he had shot down an F-117, his first reaction was one of astonishment. "We didn't know it was an invisible plane." His words soon became a viral slogan that resonated in the media and among the Yugoslav population. Faced with the shocking images of the downed F-117, citizens exclaimed, "Sorry, we didn't know it was an invisible plane." Without a doubt, Colonel Zoltan Danny's words were crucial in boosting the morale of the troops and the Yugoslav population. However, the reality of the war was imminent, and although the tactical victory was his, the war was lost. On June 9, 1999, the Kumanovo Treaty was signed, ending the hostilities. After the war, Colonel Zoltan Danny was forced to retire early. Years later, in 2008, the last units of the F-117 were decommissioned, marking the end of the invisible plane era. However, the legacy of that day did not end there. In 2012, the pilot of the downed F-117, Lieutenant Colonel Dale Zelko, and Commander Zoltan Danny met for the first time since that historic confrontation. With no hard feelings, both recalled the war, in which, in the end, they had only followed orders and fought for the well-being of their nations. This incident, which occurred on March 27, 1999, left an indelible mark on the history of aviation and modern warfare. Was stealth technology really as invulnerable as they thought? This case continues to be studied and reflected upon, casting doubt on the effectiveness of stealth strategies in the face of the enemy's adaptation and determination. The story of these 2 former rivals, now retired military men, leaves us with a powerful lesson. All men are equal. We fight for what we believe is right, and sometimes, the hardest battles turn into a path toward mutual respect. The meeting of Dale Zelko and Zoltan Danny shows that even the fiercest enemies can, over time, become friends. Without a doubt, this is a great lesson for humanity. War may separate us, but respect and understanding can unite us. If you found this video interesting and it touched a chord, we invite you to subscribe to our channel for more stories that teach us about humanity in the midst of conflict. And if you're already part of our community, support us with a like and share this video so that every week we can bring you new and exciting war stories. Thank you for being part of this story.